Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do a fun little full face of cream makeup video today. First of all, I was very much inspired by Julia Adams, one of my favorite beauty creators here on YouTube. She's chef's kiss, such an angel. And she recently did a video doing a full face of cream makeup. I'll link it down below if you guys want to check it out. And I was inspired. And I also just did a cream showdown as my last video. So I just feel like it makes sense to follow that up with a full face of cream makeup. So here we are. You guys know how much I love creams. I feel like I'm kind of known as a cream lover. You guys always come to me for cream product recommendations. And whenever a new cream product comes out, you're like, Jamie, tell me your thoughts. And I'm happy to be that for you, really, because cream products hold such a special place in my heart. I really started loving them a couple years ago, and as somebody with dry skin, they just work for me so well. They make my skin look dewy and hydrated. I just find them to be really easy to use and flattering. So needless to say, the makeup that I'm going to be using today is going to consist of some old favorites, but also some new products and new products that I've never tried before. So it's going to be a nice mix of everything, and I hope that you guys are going to love it. Let me know in the comments some of your favorite cream products. Hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you want to join the fam. And if you love creams too. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Wearing a white turtleneck doing cream makeup video was a choice. Am I gonna get makeup on this turtleneck by the end of today's video? Vote down below, we'll find out together. Okay, starting off first with the base, because we don't have to worry about fallout with a fully cream makeup tutorial. So at first I really didn't think that I had a cream priming product, but then I remembered that I just got this Cosmetics Face Cuddle Moisture Balm in the mail, and I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to try this out for the very first time. This is basically a hydrating stick from Cosmetics. It's brand new. I've never used it. So from my understanding, this is essentially just a glowy hydrating product in a stick form, very much up my alley. I do really like glowy hydrating bases for my foundation. It's what I prefer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this texture is going to be like. So I'm just going to start to kind of swipe it on my skin. Whoa, that is not what I expected it would feel like. It almost feels oily when you first start to massage it into the skin, but then it absorbs really, really quickly. I was a little bit worried that this would be almost like too wet on the face, but it doesn't feel that way. So I'm really concentrating this on the super dry areas of my skin. So on like my chin, my cheeks are pretty dry, and also my nose has a lot of texture on it. I also saw that they mentioned that you can use this kind of as a super natural highlighter on top of your foundation. But I kind of have a feeling that because this is so slippery and almost oily in texture, that this would just break up foundation if you apply it on top. So I don't know how much I would do that. But underneath foundation, you shouldn't really have a problem. And it does give a really nice glow. I mean, my skin looks hydrated. It looks like I just put moisturizer on, which is, I guess, the point of this product. So now moving on to my foundation, I wanted to pull out something that was a really, really old favorite of mine and something that I also haven't used in a long time, and that's the Makeup Forever Stick Cream Foundation. I used to be obsessed with this stuff. This was one of my go-to foundations for my makeup artist kit when I did work as a makeup artist very briefly. This was one of my favorite foundations to use. And what I really like about this is I always feel like I know what I'm going to get with this product. I feel like it just always wears really, really nicely. And I'm also able to control it very easily because it is in a stick form. You're able to build it up just by kind of layering the product, or you can have a really, really sheer effect on the skin too. Just again, depending on how you do apply it. So the color that I'm going to be using today is 120, which should match me pretty well. The one thing that I will say with cream foundations is I do find that they can get pretty heavy pretty quickly on the face, especially if you build up too much product. So my personal favorite way to apply this so that doesn't happen is to go in with my foundation brush or a sponge. If you do want to go with a sponge, that's going to give you more of a light coverage type of look. And I go in directly from the stick to the brush to my face. And that just makes it so I won't over apply the product by swiping it on my face. I do find it's actually quite easy to over apply when you're just haphazardly swiping because you don't even know how much product you really need. I mean, with that small little tap to the foundation, that just covered my entire half of my face with no issues, and I don't even have to build it up. And that's why I really love this foundation. Look at that. Man, why did I stop using this? What I also loved about this foundation is just how natural looking it always looks on the skin. So it doesn't lean too matte or too dewy, and it just looks like skin. Look at that. That took me literally 2 seconds to apply too. And this brush that I'm using is the Huda Beauty Build and Buff brush. I've been loving this for foundation. I think it's because it's such a dense and big foundation brush. I just find it really applies foundation super evenly. So for my concealer, we're going to be using something new today that I recently got in PR. I don't know if this is a brand new product. I believe it is because I've never seen it before, but it's a cream concealer. So it's the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage Brighten and Correct Duo. This one is in 2W. So the concept of this concealer is that there's basically 2 different colors. There's a shade to brighten, which looks like that, and then there's a shade to correct. Not that far off from the other shade, but it's a little bit peachier. This shade is actually too dark for me. I'm gonna go with the lighter color that I do actually have right here very conveniently. So this one is 1N. So I don't really know if you guys can even see those swatches. They are skin color, so they don't really pop up off of my hand. Shades are just a little bit off. I do find the brighten shade to be pretty peachy and then the correct shade to be very pink. Now I personally don't really love cream concealers. It's not my personal favorite concealer consistency. I do prefer more of a liquid concealer. The only cream concealer that I love, and it was the one that I was going to initially use today until I realized that I had a new one to try out, is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. This is one of my all-time favorite concealers. It's so good. It has a soft matte finish, it has a great medium coverage, and it looks very lightweight on the skin, and it just lasts really well because of that more like matte finish. But that's really the only cream concealer that I like. Every other time that I've tried a cream concealer, especially ones that are in a stick form like this, I just find they look super heavy. So we'll see if that's the case with this guy. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit more so you could really see the application of this product. I really think the best way to apply a product like this is to warm it up on the back of the hand and then apply it with your finger rather than just drawing it on, because I think that's when it can get a little bit heavy. So I'm picking up the product from the back of my hand and I'm just going to put this on the darkest areas of my under eye. So kind of like right here. I look a little bit bright. This may actually be a little bit too light for me. Maybe I underestimated the shade of this, or overestimated, I don't know. So I'm now realizing that maybe the shade was a little bit too light for me, so I'm going to go back to the 2W duo, and I'm gonna use the Brighten shade as my main concealer. So again, I'm warming it up on the back of my hand and just kind of apply over it. This actually feels a lot less thick than I imagined it would be. Typically, cream concealers are pretty thick and almost putty-like in consistency, but this feels very emollient, which is allowing it to blend pretty easily. I'm really not loving the way that it's sitting underneath my eyes. I actually got a reaction to a skincare product that I use, so I have some bumps underneath my eyes, and I just feel like this is accentuating it quite a bit, and it's just not the most flattering concealer I've ever tried. So I don't love it. It's not the worst though. It doesn't look horrible. It's just not my favorite. Okay, before this creases, I'm just gonna quickly set my under eyes with a little bit of my Pat McGrath under eye setting powder. With cream products, you do wanna make sure that you set very lightly, especially on areas where you feel like you crease. Because of the consistency of creams, they are a little bit on like the thicker side. They do tend to settle a little bit more than liquids. So you may want to grab your powder is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just kind of putting a really thin dusting of this just in the center of my face because I don't want to get rid of any of the shine and glowiness over here. So now moving on to my bronzer, I'm actually going to be using another foundation for my bronzer today. This is the Cover FX Total Cover Cream Foundation in the shade G70. I mentioned this in my cream showdown video, and I really love this as a bronzer because it blends so seamlessly into the skin since it is technically a foundation, and it also lasts a really long time on the face, unlike a lot of cream products, because it is also a foundation. That is one downside to creams, is that typically the longevity, especially with a lot of like the blush products, for example, don't really last super long on the face, but this is an exception. And what's also really great about using a cream foundation as a bronzer is that you have a huge range of shades to choose from, especially the Cover FX foundation. You have so many different shades with a lot of different undertones, so you'll probably find exactly what you're looking for. So I'm gonna go in with this angled brush. This is the Zoeva 103 Define Buffer. So you really don't need a lot because it is, again, a foundation. There is pigment to it. The one tip that I'll give you when you are applying your cream bronzer or even your cream blush is to tap it on the skin rather than swipe it, because you're just gonna end up moving around anything else that you have lying underneath. And it is also a little bit more difficult to find this exact undertone in a cream bronzer. It's quite golden and almost yellow based, which I personally find to be the most flattering types of bronzers for my skin tone. This is where it's gonna get a little bit messy on my jawline. I'm a little bit worried it's gonna get on my white turtleneck now. And I'm also gonna put a little bit down the sides of my nose. Just a touch, just to kind of add some warmth there as well. So for the blush, we're gonna be using the new Rare Beauty Cream Blush in Nearly Neutral. This is gonna be the first time that I'm using this particular shade on my cheeks today, so I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like, but I have used the Nearly Apricot blush. If you love a cream blush that kind of gives you a little bit of that sun-kissed, sunburnt effect, Nearly Apricot is incredible. It's so beautiful. Do I have it here? I do. It's such a gorgeous kind of rusty coral. This color is everything, and I would use this today, but I've already used this shade, and I really wanted to see how this shade looked on the cheeks, so that's why we're gonna go with this guy. I would say that this is definitely a very beginner-friendly cream blush. A lot of cream products, as you guys may or may not know, can be slightly more difficult or finicky to work with. This, though, is very emollient, so it's super easy to blend, and it has a nice sheer payoff to it. So you don't really have to worry about this giving you clown cheeks. And you could totally just apply this with just a finger, which I feel like is always the most ideal way to apply any cream product because it's just so quick and easy. I actually like this color a lot more than I thought I would. It's not the most buildable color, I will say that. So if you really want very, very punchy color, you're not really gonna get it with something like this. But if you want something nice and soft, really perfect for every day, this is beautiful. So last but not least, for the base, I'm gonna go in with a cream highlighter. Obviously, this is the Tower 28 Super Dew in No Shade, which is basically just like a clear, glossy looking highlighter. This is like a very balmy, almost thick texture. So you kind of wanna be a little bit careful with it because you don't wanna apply too much because then it can get a little bit greasy on the skin. So with this product, I actually like to dab off the excess and just apply a really small amount, just where I want to add a little bit of glow. And it just gives a super natural, like you're not even wearing highlighter type of glow. It just makes your skin look glossy. For the eyes, I am going to be using one of my new favorite eyeshadow products, the Smashbox Always On Cream Shadows. I do find that cream shadows to be the most difficult type of cream product to really get used to, just because they don't really perform at all like a typical powder eyeshadow. So if you want to do like a full-on eyeshadow look with a defined crease and a different shade on the lid, it's really not the most ideal product formula to use in that way. For me, the best way to apply a cream eyeshadow is just as a one color eyeshadow look, just apply kind of all over the lid and blend it out. If you go any more complicated than that, you can probably do it, or you could do it for sure, but I just don't feel like it's really necessary with a product like this. Because to me, if you're gonna be using a cream, it's because you want something that's quick and easy. So with all that being said, I think today I want something really, really nice and soft. So I'm going to go in with the shade Sepia, which is this really pretty kind of yellowy brown. I am going to just put on the back of my hand and then just take a little blending brush and then just apply it really simply, like all over the lid. And once I get to the crease, I start to go back and forth to just buff it out. And what I really love about these particular cream shadows is how easy they are to blend out. They do have a matte powdery finish, and because of that finish, it just blends kind of like how a powder eyeshadow blends. I just kind of feel like they're really foolproof, which again is not easy to find in a cream eyeshadow. Like even if I mess up, I can really easily just kind of blend it away with my finger and it looks totally fine. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more and just run it underneath my lower lash line. This particular formula also locks down on the eye, so you don't have to put a powder on top to lock it down or anything like that, and this will last you all day. So it really is like a one and done quick eyeshadow look. I am going to be using one other cream product on my eyes. This is the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick Eye Color in Rose Gold. This is one of my old favorite inner corner highlighters because it is so reflective. This is such a gorgeous product. So I'm just going to pop it right on the inner corner of the eye and then just kind of take my finger and pat it out a little bit, and that will blend it. And it just gives a really, really nice reflection to the inner corner. And if you wanted to make things maybe a little bit more interesting, you could also take the same cream shadow and just pop it on the center of the lid just to add some dimension. So I'm putting it on the back of my hand for this and then applying it with my fingers, because I feel like if I were to apply it directly from the stick, it would pull the color underneath off, which I don't want. So this is the best way to do it. So this is just adding a little bit more dimension to the look, just so it's not just a flat one color. For my mascara today, I don't have a cream mascara. I don't even think that exists. So I'm just gonna go in with this guy from Bite. This is the Upswing. I actually thought this was called UPS Wing. That just shows I've been doing a lot of online ordering. Oh my God. It's called Upswing. Wow. Okay, I'm just gonna apply this to my lashes. A lot of you guys were asking me my thoughts on this. I've only used it a couple times, so I don't really have any full-on thoughts, but so far so good. I do find it does a good job of just making my lashes look really tick. So for my brows, I'm going to use my Cosmetics Brow Cream. So technically this isn't really like a cream product, but it does have like kind of a thicker, creamier formula, and you guys know how much I love this. And I'm actually going to be using the shade Ebony. I almost said black, but it's called Ebony. So I'm just going to brush this through my brows. My brows are so, oh my God, they need to be done so badly. I say that every single time I do my makeup, and I still forget to tweeze my brows. They're just really all over the place. With a simpler eye look like this, I do like a more defined dark brow. That's why I'm going with the darker brow shade today. My brows could definitely look a lot better, but we're just gonna accept them as they are today, because I don't know how much better I could actually make them without just fully going in and shaping and tweezing them, which is what I really need to be doing. But listen, where am I going? I have no incentive to do my brows right now. So for the lip product, I didn't really know what to go for, because I feel like most lip products are a cream formula. So I decided just to go with this Rare Beauty multi-lip cream, because cream is in the name, in the shade Brave, which is this beautiful rusty rust color. And I thought, again, this would go really, really nicely with my eyes, with like this really warm toned eyeshadow we have going on, and the super warm bronzer, and also the blush. I just feel like it's really going to tie everything together. So I'm going to go in with that. But first I'm going to line my lips with this Kkw Lip Liner in Russet, which is kind of a similar tone. I very surprisingly really like the Kkw lip liners. I recently started testing and trying them out, and at first I really didn't think they would be anything too special, if I'm being really honest with you guys, but I actually find them to be very, like, incredibly long wearing. It lasted on my lips for hours and hours and hours. The one thing that I don't like about it though is it tastes and smells like Play-Doh. So that really is the biggest downside that I have, but it's very long wearing. Now going in with the Rare Beauty Brave Lip Cream. These smell so nice, smell like cake. I really love the formula of these lip creams. If you enjoy matte lip, but you want something that's not drying, this is perfect. It gives you a completely flat matte finish. It almost has kind of like a slightly powdery texture to it. So when you put on your lips, it feels so lightweight. You know how a lot of matte lips could feel heavy and you could really feel it on the lips? This feels like nothing. It feels like I'm wearing just like a really lightweight lip balm, which is just so pleasant. And I feel like this formula is really just like the best option for a matte lip. And this color is so beautiful. I feel very autumnal right now, even though we are literally in the middle of a winter blizzard. I really love the look. I'm super happy with the way that it turned out. I think the only product that I wasn't the biggest fan of in this video was the concealer that I used, the Laura Mercier little duo concealer. I just feel like that it didn't work. All right, that is it for today's video. My face is now full of creams. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments all of your thoughts on all the products that I used today, and maybe some of your favorite cream products that you've been loving lately. And give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you want to join the fam and want to see more videos like this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.